Good morning, students. Let's continue chapter 3 of history, the Sultans of Delhi. In this module, we will talk about the Sayyid dynasty, the Lodi dynasty, expansion of the Sultanate, and about the sources of history of Delhi Sultanate. So let's talk about first the Sayyid dynasty. Khizr Khan. Khizr Khan was the founder of Sayyid dynasty. He was a local governor and called himself as the viceroy of the Timur. He was the ablest ruler of this dynasty. He tried to extend his control over more territories but met very little success. The successors of Khizr Khan were not so powerful. The Sayyid dynasty ruled over Delhi and its surrounding regions for a short period of time. So let's talk about the Lodi dynasty. And the first ruler of Lodi dynasty was Behlol Lodi. He removed rebellious governors and appointed loyal Afghan nobles in their place. He was responsible for the glory and strength of the Lodi dynasty. Next, we will talk about Sikandar Lodi, who was the powerful ruler of Lodi dynasty. He controlled the Ganga valley as far as western Bengal. He founded the city of Agra and made it his capital. He managed to establish an efficient system of administration and tried to ensure all essential commodities were reasonably priced. Next, we will talk about the last ruler of Delhi Sultanate, and he was Ibrahim Lodi. He was harsh, cruel and unpopular ruler. He was also unhappy with his senior nobles and replaced them with younger ones who were loyal to him. This displeased the older nobles who conspired against him and invited Babur to invade Indian territories. Ibrahim Lodi fought against Babur in AD 1526. In this battle, Ibrahim Lodi was defeated and killed by Babur. Dear students, this battle marked the end of the Delhi Sultanate and came to be known as the First Battle of Panipat. Next, we will talk about the expansion of the Sultanate. Here we will talk about the two new terms, garrison towns and hinterlands. Garrison towns means a fortified settlement with soldiers. Hinterlands means the land adjacent to a city or port that supply it with goods and services. In the beginning, the Sultans of Delhi mainly controlled heavily fortified towns occupied by garrisons. The Sultans rarely controlled the hinterlands, so they had to depend on trade, tributes or loot for supplies of goods. Next, we will talk about the challenges in controlling the kingdom. The Sultans of Delhi, they faced many challenges in controlling the kingdom. The challenges were to control distant places was a difficult task. For example, controlling garrison towns in Bengal and Sindh from the capital city of Delhi was very difficult. Rebellions, war and bad weather created obstacles in communication routes. The kingdom always felt the danger of Mongol invasions from Afghanistan. The governors could rebel at any sign of the Sultan's weakness. The expansion of the Sultanate became possible mainly during the reigns of Balban, Alauddin Khilji and Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Next, we will talk about the expansion campaigns. The Sultans adopted two sets of campaign along the internal frontier and campaigns along the external frontier. Internal frontier of the Sultanate means the frontier along the garrison towns that were controlled by the Sultans. In the process of consolidation, the forests were cleared in Ganga, Yamuna, Doab for the expansion of agricultural land. The cleared lands were given to peasants and thus agriculture was encouraged. And dear students, even today deforestation occurs for the same process. For expansion of the external frontier of the Sultanate, military expeditions in South India were started by Alauddin Khilji. Muhammad bin Tughlaq took the expeditions to a new height. And in the end, we will talk about the sources of history of Delhi Sultanate. Dear students, there are many sources which gives us valuable information about the Delhi Sultanate, such as history, the accounts of foreign travelers, the court chroniclers, inscriptions, coins, architecture, Tawrikh, etc. The most valuable sources of information of this period are Tawrikh and the accounts of the foreign travelers. Tawrikh is the plural form of Tariq, which were written by administrators, poets, courtiers, etc. in Persian language. They contained advice for rulers. These authors did not provide information about the lives of the ordinary men and women. Because they lived in cities, especially in Delhi, they rarely lived in villages. And secondly, they generally wrote chronicles in praise of sultans because they got rewards for that. Some other literary sources such as Amir Khusro's Tughlaqnama, Ziauddin Barni's Tarikh-e-Firoz Shahi, and accounts of travelers like Ibn Battuta and Marco Polo also shed light of this period. So that was all about this chapter. Thank you.